And so today it's about listening, teaching and assessing listening. Do you like this skill? Why don't you like it? Who said no? Okay, why? It's really, really hard. Because like right now, are you listening to me? I don't know. I can't tell. Well, maybe she's always smiling. Like, maybe I can see her listening, but I can't really see inside her brain. So I don't quite know if she's listening. And so today, I'm going to talk about what you can do with your listening activities. How you should set them up accordingly so you can actually carry them out effectively. And it's really, really, really hard. So if I go too fast or if you don't understand something, please say, hey, stop. It's okay. So, my number one thing, I love, 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 love dictation. Do you? Why? Why? Who said no? Who said no? Why? She said her spelling's not that good. Is dictation about spelling? What? Now, I firmly believe, and research does show, that dictation is very, very helpful. Do you do dictation in your classes? Sometimes? And why do you do it? To make students learn new vocabulary? What else? What else would we use dictation? Writing dictation? What's writing dictation? And then write it? Okay, that's one type. That's one type. Listening is very challenging. And so sometimes I have to really get my students to focus and to block out all the world so they can actually listen. Today we're going to work with dictation because I think it's the number one effective technique that you can use. But I want to prove to you that she's wrong. So I'll begin with standard dictation. What is standard dictation? What do you do? You say? So you have something. You have a cool recording. This is called a stimulus material. You have something, right? So students have to actually listen to something. Then, that's called what is this? A burst. A burst. So you listen all the way through. Then you listen again and you stop. At each stop, that's called a burst. Right? Then when that's all done, students write. Do they write word for word? Yep. Yeah. So, in standard dictation, the reason for this is to promote self-monitoring and careful editing skills, right? Many teachers build in a minute for the students to review what they have written before the last reading. So, this is called washback. This means this helps the students to edit their writing. So one more time. You play the whole recording once. Students listen. Play it again, stop. At each stop, those are called bursts. Then you play it all one more time through. Do you do this in your classes? I hope you do now. Hope you do now. So, I want to do an experiment. Whee! This, I want you to think very closely about Spanish. How many of you know Spanish? Anyone know Spanish? Perfect. Perfect. On a piece of paper, please take out a piece of paper. It would have paper and pen, right? At the top of the page, I want you to write Spanish proficiency. At At the top of the page, write Spanish proficiency. Then, 0 means you have 0, you know no Spanish. 1 means a little bit. 2 means somewhat. 3, quite a lot. 4, good. 5, perfect. Rate yourself. Where are you on the scale? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? We're gonna do dictation in Spanish. I want you to really listen hard, and I don't do English. Why? Because I want to prove to you that dictation is not an activity or technique that's about spelling and memory. It's more than that. It's more than that. Are you ready for the challenge? This is hard. First step, you just listen through. Listen for words that sound familiar.
Para comprender la América española, es preciso recordar que su cultura ya era vieja en algunas partes. México, Guatemala, Ecuador, Perú y Bolivia, donde llegó Cristóbal Colón. La personalidad de dichas regiones ha sido determinada, y todavía lo es, por su legado indígena. En las repúblicas hispanoamericanas, exceptuándose el Uruguay y la Argentina, cuyas poblaciones son probablemente blancas, abundan millones de personas de sangre mezclada. El español no tiene prejuicio de raza.
How was that? She's like, what? What did we just listen to? Did you hear any key words? What else? What else did you hear? Some names of countries, maybe? Maybe what? Maybe. Now we'll do it in bursts. So he will speak, and he will stop. When he stops, try to write everything you possibly can down. She's like, what? Good luck.
Para comprender la América española,
just try. I know you don't know Spanish, I know. Continue.
es preciso recordar que su cultura
Write down any sounds, any words that you think you heard.
ya era vieja en algunas partes.
She's like, what? Dave, what are you doing?
México, Guatemala, Ecuador, Perú y Bolivia
Right down. Here we go.
cuando llegó Cristóbal Colón.
Do you see how I'm trying to get you to focus on the sounds? It's hard, isn't it? But you got to focus.
La personalidad de dichas regiones ha sido determinada y todavía lo es por su legado indígena en las repúblicas hispanoamericanas
Americana.
exceptuándose el cuyas poblaciones son predominantemente blancas, abundan millones de personas de sangre mezclada.
How is it? She's like, awful, awful. Now imagine that you are teaching beginning English, and you want students to do dictation like this. This is what they're thinking. Awful, awful, awful. Right? But after you've played the whole tape through once, you play it again with the verse. Now students have the ability to think, right? You play one more time all the way through. As I go through, you check your words, if you have any. Okay? Here we go.
El español no tiene prejuicio de raza.
Oh, that was the last one. I'm sorry. I don't know Spanish either.
Para comprender la América española, es preciso recordar que su cultura ya era vieja en algunas partes. México, Guatemala, Ecuador, Perú y Bolivia, cuando llegó Cristóbal Colón. La personalidad de dichas regiones ha sido determinada, y todavía lo es, por su legado indígena. En la República Hispanoamericana, exceptuándose el Uruguay y la Argentina, cuyas poblaciones son predominantemente blancas, abundan millones de personas de sangre mezclada. El español no tiene prejuicio de raza.
Now to help the students, now the teacher usually will say, okay, I'll tell you the answer, blah, 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 blah. In your groups, try to compare and see, what do we have? Do we have anything? But usually, this is what I want to tell you. In your English classes, you will have people of different ability levels. Some will have what you have now, and some will have everything. So you try to combine your thoughts together to do it. So with your group, what do you have? Anything? Let's see, go ahead, 2 minutes, timers, 2 minutes, go. Who said before that their Spanish was really, really good? Anyone? Anyone had a 5? A 4? A 3? 2? 1? 0? Yeah, okay. So, this is the answer that they have. Para comprender la América Española. Anyone get Española? Yes, one person. Es preciso recordar que su cultura es vieja en algunas partes. Ah, good. This is the only thing I got when I did it. This is the only thing I got. Mexico, Guatemala, Ecuador, Peru, y Bolivia. Yeah. Now, is dictation about spelling and memorization, or is it about understanding? That's what I want to prove to you. You understood the country's names. It's not that you were memorizing and spelling. That's my point. Cool, huh? I don't speak Spanish. That's my friend who did it. Let's listen to him and read the words. It's better that way than me. I'm so bad. I'm really bad.
Comprender la América española, es preciso recordar que su cultura ya era vieja en algunas partes. México, Guatemala, Ecuador, Perú y Bolivia, donde llegó Cristóbal Colón. La personalidad de dichas regiones ha sido determinada,
when my students do this, for me in the classroom, I don't like it as a teacher because I get kind of bored because I'm always moving, right? But sometimes I have to stop and be quiet and let my students practice listening. This is the best way. Did you feel yourself listening? Like, what is he saying? What's he saying? What's he saying? There's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is, this is the best way to practice listening. The bad thing is, if it's too tough for all of your students, this is what's going to happen. Right? So, make sure not everyone has 0. Make sure there's a 0, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 2. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Now, over here we had an interesting discussion. She says she did dictation in her class. Tell them about your class.
It's not dictation.
No.
It's you say.
So, what she said was, she teaches vocabulary. And then she will say the word, and they write the word down. Is that dictation? It's spelling. She's not teaching comprehension. She's not teaching understanding. She's just teaching spelling. Vocabulary, but not even vocabulary. Because it's out of context. She's just teaching, like, black, white, gray. So if you do that, I recommend make a story, put it together, and do what we just did. Okay? Good. Now, doing listening. Think about dictation. What listening material did we use? What were you expected to do? How were you expected to respond? And then how do we see the results? These are the 4 questions that the theory and that research shows that you should be thinking about when you teach listening. It's called Wesch's framework. That's Wesch. She's a really, really brilliant woman. Little old, but brilliant woman. She says, whenever you do listening, practice in class or you test, 4 things you must think about. Number 1, the stimulus material. This is any linguistic or non-linguistic stuff that students will have to listen to. So what are some stimulus materials? We have tapes, CDs, music. What else? News. What else? Songs. What else? Huh? Yes. So how you choose material is actually really, really important. Is it at the student's level? Is it too high for them? Is it too low for them? Where is it? Is it just appropriate or not appropriate? Is it culturally appropriate? Not culturally appropriate. Right? Stimulus material stimulates thought. The second part is the task posed to the learner. This is psycholinguistic. It means it happens in the brain, right? What the brain is doing, what the brain is processing. Do you want the listener to do what? Listen for detail? Listen for overall meaning? What are you asking your students to listen for? That's hard. We can't see that. Because we can't see that, there are 2 more steps. The third, the learner's response. This tells you, the teacher, yes, he is doing it, or she is doing it. Do you want them to respond verbally, written down, draw a picture? What do you want them to do? And the fourth, scoring criteria. How do you score them? Correct, incorrect, partial, not partial? And so think about dictation, right? Let's say you said Mexico, Guatemala, Peru, but you spelled it incorrectly. Do you still give your students points? Do you say they're correct or incorrect? You have to make that decision. That's a hard decision to make. So one more time. Any listening activity, anything you do, I don't care what it is, if it's not dictation, you have to do these 4 things. What are you presenting them with? What is their task? How do they respond? And then what do you say is right or wrong? Crazy, huh? Think about your textbook right now. Think about when you ask your students to listen. Tell your teammates really quick, do you follow these 4 criteria? Or do you think you should from now on? Talk to your teammates for 1 minute about what you think about this. Go ahead. You can create a rubric, yes. You can. Many people around the world will take 1 point off for spelling, 1 point off for grammar. I don't know if that's appropriate. Oh, okay. Is this framework beneficial? Is it helpful? Yes, it is. Because even this wonderful, beautiful woman right here, she said, our textbooks already have methodology section. Well, guess what? Now you are smart, you have this understanding. Is the methodology correct? Is the textbook actually doing appropriately what it should be doing? Or is it just putting things together? It's just what? Oh, I'm sorry, I heard something over there.
Well, maybe if the teacher works with the teacher's book and the textbook, then plan the lesson according to the work exercise. That can be in this framework.
Yes. Yes. Also, I want you not to be blind. This is my #1 thing for today. Don't be blind with your textbooks. Textbooks are not always correct, and they're not always appropriate. But now you know that if you think about these 4 things, if you want your students to listen, it takes a little bit more time, but you can create meaningful tasks and activities. Right? So, standard dictation. What's the stimulus material I played for you? My friend recorded his voice, right? I pressured him, I gave him $5. The task posed to you, what was it? To listen and to what?
Listen to the words and sounds that are familiar to us.
And to write down. The response was to what? Write down. Sometimes you can have, like, for little kids, you can have different colors, papers. And they can move papers around. Who knows? Think about your students, right? What was the scoring criteria?
It was verbal.
It was verbal, yes. And correct order, exactly. Exactly. Was I looking for your spelling? No. I want to listen for your understanding. So practicing listening, students have to actually listen. And that's hard to do. Let's say I change something really quick. Stimulus material, I keep as a MP3. But the task pose is a little different. I change it slightly. Let's say I take out partial dictation. Have you done that? Partial dictation must first decide what you are trying to teach or assess. So let's say I want to teach numbers or specific vocabulary words, right? You may choose to delete words, phrases, clauses, or entire sentences. The choice rests largely upon the purpose. So I want to teach about animals. I want to teach about verbs. I want to teach something. You have a passage, you take away that information. You see? So this is not just simply filling in the blank. Filling in the blank is different. This is making your students focus on something specific to listen for and then to fill in. So I have key information here that you cannot see. We'll do a dictation. We'll do it in English. I was thinking, should we do it in Chinese or not? No, we'll do it in English. So the first time, you don't do anything. Because first time, you simply listen to me. Did you notice, by the way, that you can understand me better now, today, than last week? Yes, you can. That's why I like to do dictation too. By constantly listening to someone's voice, research has shown that over time you will get accustomed to it. Accustomed means to get used to. So here we go. This is a real life dictation. I was at the airport and I stood there and I held up my microphone. I was like, I recorded it. So listen first. I had to get my airplane voice on. Ding. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first flight attendant again. I do have some connecting gate information for those of you making connections to other flights here in Chicago. At this time, we have been informed of the following flights. Ding. Flight 706 to St. Louis will depart from gate 930 at will depart from gate 73 at 9:30 p.m. Flight 1045 to San Francisco will depart at 9:50 p.m. from gate 17. Flight 4404 to Philadelphia will depart at 9:35 p.m. from gate 60. And Flight 170 to Denver will depart from gate 19 at 10:50 p.m. Ding! It's my flight voice. Okay, so second time, you get ready? Here we go. Bing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first flight attendant again. I do have some connecting gate information for those of you making connections to other flights here in Chicago. At this time, we have been informed of the following flights. Bing. Flight 706 to St. Louis will depart from gate 73 at 9:30 p.m. Flight 1045 to San Francisco will depart at 9:50 p.m. from gate 17. Flight 4404 to Philadelphia will depart at 9:35 p.m. from gate 60. And Flight 170 to Denver will depart from gate 19 at 10:50 p.m. Ding. Did you get it? Did you get all of it? You got some, didn't you? That's why we do a listening a third time. Do you see that? You listen first for general information. Now you're listening for key information, so you're focusing on accuracy of listening. And now we'll do it one more time. I'm speaking in a very kind of fast, native-like-esque pace, by the way. Yeah. Oh, pen. Oh, I'm so sorry, I took your pen. That's funny. Okay, third time, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first flight attendant again. I do have some connecting gate information for those of you making connections to other flights here in Chicago. At this time, we have been informed of the following flights. Ding! Flight 706 to St. Louis will depart from gate 73 at 9:30 p.m. Flight 1045 to San Francisco will depart at 9:50 p.m. from gate 17. Flight 4404 to Philadelphia will depart at 9:35 p.m. from gate 60. And Flight 170 to Denver will depart from gate 19 at 10:50 p.m. Ding! With your team members, do you think you have the right information?
Yeah.
So, let me go through the answers. I'll go slowly. Okay, so it's just Flight 706. 706 to St. Louis will depart from gate 73. Good. At 9:30 p.m. Or I can say 21:30. 21:30, right? Okay. Next, Flight 1045 to San Francisco will depart at 9:50. 50. Some people put 15. From gate 17. 17. 1, 7. 17. Do you see what we're doing? Do you see this? We're focusing on accuracy. And some of you are like 7D or 17. 50 or 15. So I'm training your ear to listen for these different sounds. Cool, huh? Flight 4404 to Philadelphia will depart at 9:35 p.m. from gate 60. Not 16, 60. I love her, she's like, whoosh! Then, and flight 170 to Denver will depart from gate 19 at 10:50 p.m. So, I love her, she's like, oh. I was teaching listening accuracy through partial dictation, focusing on what? The difference between T and D. That's what I was teaching. In an interesting and real creative way. That's what I want you to do. Take your textbook and say, how can I make this more creative? So, stimulus material is real, live, recorded. I actually was in the airport like this. What was the learner's task? To listen for the difference between D and T. The response was to fill in partial dictation. The scoring, either you did it or you didn't do it. Right? Good, so this is also a test item that you can do for your test. The next one is a graduated dictation. Bless you. I think it's pretty self-evident. So the teacher simply takes a passage out of your textbook and divides it up. So the teacher says, wild animals used to wander over the country. And as the teacher says this, the students are writing. Do you notice how long I pause? Listen one more time. How long does they pause for? Wild animals used to wander. Exactly. I'm actually counting in my head. That's how long the brain takes to process. That's how long you should wait. Got it? Good. So we have standard dictation, we have partial dictation for accuracy. What's the opposite of accuracy? Fluency, right? How do you do listening and fluency? Let me tell you how. Let's say we don't want to test or teach our students accuracy in reproducing what they've heard as much as their grasp, right? We're looking for a grasp of the key points in the text, right? The stimulus material might be the same, but the task posed to them is different. The learner's response and the scoring criteria. So you don't have to change the material. You just change what they have to do. She's like, My favorite and most difficult listening task I've ever done in my entire life is next. It's called the dictocomp. This is really, really, really hard. I have tried to have many governments use this on tests. It's just too difficult for tests. But this is a great thing to use in your classroom to help with comprehension. Dicto comes from the word dictation. Comp comes from composition. So they're actually going to produce a composition based off of listening. All they do? Listen. Then, compose a paragraph. And that's it. Easy, huh? And so, I went to this school for my master's degree. It's called the Monterey of Actually, I lied, the name just changed last week. It's now called Middlebury Institute of International Studies. But it's a small international school in California. And every year they have what's called a yearly graduation dinner dance. Okay? And this one woman who I mentioned last week, Kathy Bailey, the really beautiful older woman, she always likes to help her students go to this dinner dance. We're going to listen to a story about this dinner dance. All I want, it's long too. It's 3 minutes. All I want you to do is to listen, sit back, listen to her voice, and then you're going to write a composition. You can't take notes. And your mind is going to wander. If it starts wandering, come back. And why do I say that? Because when we listen, our mind does wander. It's natural, isn't it? Okay? Relax, take the load off.
Every year, the Monterey Institute of International Studies hosts a dinner dance the night before graduation. As a faculty member, I'm expected to attend such functions, but the TESOL students don't usually go. The party is always dominated by IPS and IM students. So every year, I end up sitting and drinking and watching other people dance. And
Is it too loud?
Yes.
Also, sometimes there might be vocabulary you don't know. And that's the vocabulary I don't think you will know. Let me tell you. TESOL. What is TESOL? Teaching English to speakers of other languages. What is IPS? International Policy Studies. Okay? So I'll turn it down. And this is Kathy's voice.
wishing I weren't there. Every year, the Monterey Institute of International Studies hosts a dinner dance the night before graduation.
Is that okay?
As a faculty member, I'm expected to attend such functions, but the TESOL students don't usually go. The party is always dominated by IPS and IM students. So every year, I end up sitting and drinking and watching other people dance and wishing I weren't there. One year, I asked my students in advance if any of them were going. Molly said, "I'd like to go if anyone else was going." Dick said, "I'd like to go." Penny said, "I'd like to go, but $20 a ticket is too expensive." I said, "Well, if you'd like to go and the cost is holding you back, come see me and we'll pilfer some money from the departmental budget." Nobody said anything more about the graduation dinner dance until the tickets went on sale. Then Dick came to my office and asked me if anyone had followed up on the offer for financial assistance. I said no. But I guess it's a good thing. The departmental slush fund is pretty low now, at the end of the academic year. Now you need to understand about Dick. He was an experienced school teacher who used his sabbatical year to come back to school and do an MA in TESOL. Since his career was well established, he didn't have some of the financial difficulties faced by most of the other TESOL students. He was also a quiet leader in the group, sensitive and thoughtful, and very kind. Well, Dick said he'd been thinking about the graduation dance and he didn't want anyone to stay home who wanted to go. He wanted to buy tickets for the group, but he didn't want them to know about it. He asked if I let the students think that the department was buying tickets. I said, "Dick, we're talking $20 per person." He said, "I know, but I want to do it." So he began calling his classmates and telling them that I was buying tickets for everyone who wanted to go to the dinner dance. In the end, Dick bought tickets for 13 TESOL types. 3 others showed up on their own recognizance. We sat together at 2 big tables for the dinner, talking and laughing. When the dancing started, we were the first on the floor and the last to leave. We danced all night and seemed to set the tone of the party. A rumor began circulating that our department had gotten free tickets. Dick and I just laughed. When the party was over, the students all thanked me profusely. Penny said, "You know, we wouldn't have been able to come if it hadn't been for a certain very special person." I laughed and winked at Dick and said, "You're absolutely right." Dick just smiled.
That was it. It's long, huh? But it was only 3 minutes long. It's just like extremely long. Now, you are teachers. So I would say that's the perfect amount of time for an English teacher. 3 minutes. For students, it would be way too long. But if they're high-level students like you, just right. If they are beginning students, how long would the story be? Or should the story be? Maybe 40 seconds. For intermediate, a minute and a half. And the rest about 2 to 3 minutes. Here's the challenge, ready? Write a paragraph. What was the story about? Don't tell me, don't tell me. Write a paragraph. Go ahead. Unless you need to listen to it one more time. Yes? Who wants to listen one more time? Okay, we'll listen one more time, and I'll let you cheat a little bit. Okay, you can take some notes if you want. Usually I don't do that. But I'm providing positive washback. Don't do dictation, you can take notes if you want.
Every year.
Write a paragraph. Good luck. How was it? Hard? Very hard. Who thinks they did a good job? Oh, come on. How do you think you did? Pretty good? Read your passage. This is what he wrote. I didn't read it. He could be completely wrong, I don't know. But he was writing fast. Just go.
Every year, I just forgot how to university name. Every year,
Don't worry about it. It's no longer Monterey. It's Middlebury.
That's dinner party.
Yeah.
It's a faculty member. She had to attend to the party. Her department had some TESOL students. TESOL students. They weren't able to go to the party.
Because why?
Some money problems, financial problems.
Because graduate students were
The
poor.
ticket costs $20.
$20.
Molly panicked and I missed one of the students' name and they explained their problems. I think they all have financial problems. And one day,
Be a teacher.
yeah,
One day.
Dick returned to the department as a teacher.
Okay.
And he had no longer financial problem, right? And he understand the real situation of the students. And he bought 30 tickets to his students.
Wow, that's a
And
lot
they
of tickets.
all went to
30 times 20. How much money?
$600.
$6,000?
$600.
Ooh.
And they all went to party happily. We danced all night long, and the storyteller, was first and last woman in the dance. Dancing all night long.
But did he do good? We don't know yet. He wrote a lot, that doesn't mean he did good. She's like, huh? Because we're looking for comprehension. So I actually asked Kathy, I go, Kathy, what were the main ideas that you want to get across in this passage? Because that's the important part. She said, it's not that. Kathy, where are you? Okay. She said, the first one is, there's a yearly graduation dinner dance at the Monterey Institute. If you have that, put a check on your page. Put it right next to where you put that. If you did not put that, you missed a main idea. Number 2, Kathy must attend the dinner dance but doesn't enjoy it very much. Check if you do. 2, 3, the TESOL students don't usually go. She didn't mention IPS or IM. She thinks the main idea is that TESOL students don't go. Then, they don't go because they're too expensive. Actually, I don't, yeah, it's too expensive. Dick offered to pay for the TESOL students' tickets. 6, however, he wanted to do it secretly. Did you get that piece of information? If you did not get it, you didn't comprehend it. Then, Dick bought tickets for several students, not 30, 13. The TESOL group had a great time at the dinner dance. A rumor. What's a rumor? Gossip. Like someone said to me, someone wrote me an email in the class and said, Dave, I'm so happy to meet you and I hope your wife and kids are having a great time. I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. Somehow gossip happened. But I'm single, so yes. 10. The TESOL students thanked Kathy because they thought she bought the tickets. 11. Kathy did not reveal, she did not tell them that it was actually Dick. And then Dick was pleased. If you got the 13 main ideas, these are called propositions, then you really understood, you comprehended. If you didn't, teachers, These are called propositions though. A proposition is the basic meaning which a sentence expresses, right? And so they can be both they consist of 2 things actually. 1, something which is named or talked about, a noun as the argument or entity, and then an assertion or prediction which is made about the argument, right? So for example, my favorite one is this beautiful cat. And then the proposition is, Dick was pleased. Dick is the argument, and he was pleased. Right? But something can have more than one proposition. There's a yearly graduation dinner dance at the Monterey Institute. This is a large, large sentence. And it has many different propositions. So it could be, there's a dance. The dance is held at the Monterey Institute. The dance is held every year. The dance celebrates the graduation, or the dance includes dinner. Depending on how you score the comprehension, you can be very strict or very loose. It depends. Do you want each of these or one? You decide. And so how you score, 1 point for each proposition, or 2 points for each proposition, 1 point for partial, or 0 points. You see that? You can decide how strict you want to be or how loose you want to be. It's up to you. So if we go backwards to this, the 12 key propositions, you can then score yourself. How good did you do? How good did you do? You tell me. So, my scoring is, if you get the whole thing, 2 points. Partial, 1 point. Didn't get it, 0. Score yourself right now. How good did you do? Points and above is where you should be for university level comprehension. If you're below 16 points, I highly recommend you practice your comprehension. So how did my students in America do? How do you compare to my students? Alphabet. And which person did the best? So we have the American, and these are their fake names, by the way. I can't tell you the real name. But they're Paul, the American, Amy, a Chinese student, Shiho, the Japanese, Hafez, the Arabic, and Marlene, Spanish speaker. In your groups, each person take a different person. So team leader, choose who gets what person and score them. Score them. Do they have all 12? Or partial, or what? Then who did the best? You might be surprised, it might not be the American. Go ahead. Team leader, choose who has who to score. Here we go. How did the American do? Bad. The American did bad. Just because he's American and he writes nice words, doesn't he? Yeah, but you know what? He doesn't understand much. And he actually is a native speaker of English, and he was in ESL class because he has trouble understanding. So just because someone's American doesn't mean they know more or better than you. Who did the best? Spanish, right? Cool, huh? Very cool. The students, though, they did not hear the story twice. They heard the story 3 times. They heard it 3 times, but they did not take notes. They heard exactly the same thing you heard. And this is what they produced. Don't look at grammar, don't look at spelling. We're looking for just understanding. Right? So if you tell your students, I'm not looking for spelling or grammar, I just want you just to understand. This is a great activity that's really good on improving comprehension. It has some ideas that you can do after it, by the way. At first, when my students did Dictacomp, they hate me. Dave, this sucks. Dave, this is so hard. I'm like, so what? Let's keep doing it. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Just like the drama, remember? Top, top. After a while, my students all got perfect scores on TOEFL listening. And really high IELTS scores on listening. And there's a reason for that. I think Dictacomp. Because it's hard. Okay? So, Western's framework revisited. Think about always the stimulus material, the expected learners, what you want the learners to do, their response, and scoring. Always keep that framework in mind, and your listening classes will be great. Okay? Here's some ideas for the stimulus material. Voice of America. Do you use that? Yes. Good. It has a lot of wonderful website information. 2, BBC English is also really good to use. Good. I highly recommend these 2. Also, I recommend using authentic language and context for listening. Why? Or, well, what is authentic language? Authentic language and real-world tasks enable students to do what? To see relevance of classroom activity in their long-term communicative goals. Like, wow, yeah, we're doing this for a real purpose, real reason. Smart. 2, if you introduce natural text, okay, audio rather than concocted artificial material, students will more readily dive into the activity. So if it's made for students, students will say, oh, boring. Like, oh, I saw this on TV, I want you to listen to it. Yeah, TV! Students love real life things, like music too. Can you do Dictacomp with music? Yep. Can you do partial dictation with music? Yep. It's all about what you want them to do in response to listening. Right? Movies. Audio. What is that? iPod, right? iCast? What else? TED Talks. Use TED Talks. And also, why did I put that? Why did I put that? I don't know why I put that. It was cute. The task posed to the learner is once again very psycholinguistic. We can't actually see it. We can't see students actually listening. Their response? What kind of response can they do? They can respond physically to a command. Right? Choose. I saw this in the test the other day. Answering questions about passage, or condense it. Doing outlines or notes. What else can they do? Extend. You have all this in the handout. These are all different things the learners can actually respond to listening material. What else can they do? Duplicate, model, converse, or transferring. Which I'm sure you do already, right? Yeah. I love transferring, drawing a picture. One time for drawing a picture, I told my students a story about a really hard time in my life. And I had 4 different pictures. And they drew each picture after I stopped. And they retold the story based off of the pictures. And scoring criteria can either be right or wrong, that's objective or subjective. Right? And I have, of course, more information for you to take home about planning listening activities. So in my opinion, today was one of the hardest days that we're going to have. Because listening is such a difficult thing to do. It really, really is. Even me, even when I listen to my mom and dad, my mind goes like this. You know what I mean? So making listening classes fun but effective can be very challenging. Just always keep Wesh's framework in mind and you'll be okay. If you really want to push your students, use Dictacom. And if you want to focus on accuracy, use dictation. I know students are like, oh, dictation. But over time, the benefits are incredible. Any questions, comments, or concerns for me? Enjoy your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.